Hello, everybody. Oops, of course, this isn't ready. I'm such a professional. There we go. We are all good. Yeah, it's warm in my apartment, guys, so I'm sorry. I've got like a tank top on and it's like a flannel. Like, it is warm. I had to turn on the AC for the first time in 2023. Finally, I'm paying LA rent prices and we're finally getting LA weather. What do you know? But we're here to talk about the Super Mario Brothers movie. I didn't know it was called that until I just looked on IMDb. I didn't know if it was called Super Mario, the Mario movie, or what. It's the Super Mario Brothers movie. It is directed by Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic. It has a full star-studded cast with Chris Pratt as Mario, Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, Charlie Day as Luigi, Jack Black as Bowser, Keegan Michael Key as Toad, and Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. I believe those are like all the big players, but we've got Fred Armisen is in there, Kevin Michael Richardson is in there, John DiMaggio is in there. A lot of voice actors to go along with the big celebrities, the big actors. So this has been the first Mario movie since the live action one in the 90s, and if you watch that live action one in the 90s, you understand. You understand whether you like it or not, and it's completely okay to like it. I like it for the absolute reasons that it's supposed to be like, is because it's insane. No matter what you think of it, you have to admit that it's absolutely insane. If there weren't like the character, if you changed the character names, you'd never know that it was based on the video game ever, and that's fine. But I understand why Nintendo is very precious with Mario now, is because of that. Because it probably didn't boost any sales for video games or help with the IP or anything. But this movie follows Mario and Luigi. They are plumbers in Brooklyn. They just started they reached out on their own. They're starting a plumbing business, but they go down a sewer one day and they get sucked into the Mushroom Kingdom. And in the Mushroom Kingdom, Bowser, played by Jack Black, has just obtained the Star of Invincibility and is going to destroy the Mushroom Kingdom. And they have to stop him. And that's it. Like, I know I'm a little late, and by late I mean I'm doing this Thursday night, and apparently everybody and their mother has already put out a review. But you know what? Here I am. I like talking about movies. Everyone, it's like, there's no... Everything's controversial nowadays. Everything is discourse nowadays, where it's just like, no, this is just for kids, man. Well, that's pandering. That's insulting to say it's just for kids. Like, that's made for... This movie is exactly as advertised. Is it fun? Yeah, I had fun. Is there laughs? Surprisingly, there's not a lot of jokes, but for reasons that I'm really okay with, in that you watch Shrek, you watch a lot of these animated movies. I know I only name Shrek, but the very self-referential humor and the kind of degrading humor that goes along with it, that like, even like some of the Marvel stuff be like, oh, get a load of this guy. Oh man, the famous joke, like, oh, what did you expect? Yellow jumpsuits and like X-Men for Wolverine? It's like, oh, we're too cool even though we're in this. Like, we get it. We understand too, guys. And there wasn't any of that, and I was really okay with it. I think there's one kind of joke with that, because Mario doesn't like mushrooms, and you have to eat mushrooms because they're power-ups. And I'm okay with that. That was fine. They didn't like play it too hard, or they didn't like go overboard with it. He just doesn't like mushrooms. But I was watching the Mr. Sunday Movies review about Pixels, like their caravan of garbage about Pixels. And the thing about Pixels, besides it like not being a very good movie, like well acted or executed, it has such a contempt for gamers. This movie's about, the 80s video games coming to invade Earth or whatever. I've only seen like partially one time. And the only people that can save us are people that are good at video games. And boy, does no one hate that idea more than the movie itself. Every single chance, and I hadn't seen Pixels in a long time, and so watching that video, like, I forgot like how many jokes there were at like just gamers' expense, how big of losers they are. Are you hanging out in your mom's basement? Oh, you never grew up, you never got a real job. Oh, you're stuck. It's like, you know, you're making this movie for gamers, right? People that love, you know, Pac-Man and Galaxy Invaders, Space Invaders, Galaxy Invaders, I can't remember, you know, or Centipede, like all those classic arcade games. People that game and love to game, and I don't know why you're spending the entire movie insulting gamers. It was really weird to see. I'd totally forgotten about that movie. And I'm glad that that wasn't in this. If you love Mario, you're going to get a lot of Mario stuff. You're going to get that respect of like, hey, this is all the Mario that you know. There's mushrooms. There's a little nod to Yoshi. There's Luigi. There's Peach. There's the Toads. There's the Koopas, there's the little penguins of their Snow Kingdom. There's all the Mario stuff in there, and this is coming from a very casual Mario fan. Played Super NES Mario, and then like Mario 64 and Mario Kart 64. I think I played my first Mario Party like during the pandemic. Like that was like my first Mario Party experience ever. So this is a very casual Mario fan, and you could tell that they're like, okay, we're not gonna do too much of anything outside canon, so no one can be like, whoa, this radical thing that was in the Mario movie is now the official canon for Mario. Like, no. Mario and Luigi are plumbers. They go to the Mushroom Kingdom. They fight Bowser. They try and save Peach. Peach is a little more like, she's not a damsel in distress now. She's kind of a badass, and that's awesome. Unfortunately, the performance by Anya Taylor-Joy isn't quite there, and I was really surprised because I thought that was perfect casting. Now, Chris Pratt, who's been, like, you know, the big controversial casting, I thought he was fine. I think they did a good kind of, like, workaround with it. I didn't think he did anything spectacular. And that was the thing, is that, like, this movie was kind of, like, the perfect movie to just cast voice actors. Like, real voice actors. Because it's, like, the most popular property ever. I don't think anyone... I mean, maybe... I'm sure there are people. I don't think anyone is going to see this movie because of the actors behind the characters. Because I'm sure there are. Like, oh, I like Seth Rogen. Oh, I like Anya Taylor-Joy. Oh, I like Chris Pratt. But if there's any movie, like there was another one, like Trolls. Like Trolls, pack that thing. Pack that thing with celebrity cameos, all that stuff. Absolutely, because like while Trolls is like, it's a known toy. It's not as big as Mario. Like Mario's like up there with Star Wars. You could put anybody in Star Wars and people are going to see it. I know, like you could look at Solo and be like, I'm sorry, what was Solo's box office? Let me look that up real quick. Because even Solo, which is I think the lowest grossing Star Wars movie, how much did it make? Hold on, give me a second. It's all the way at the bottom here. It still made $400 million, which I know it's definitely not as successful as a lot of movies, but if you can still stumble into literally every wrong press clipping in Star Wars where a director gets fired, new director, oh, they didn't like him, they got him acting classes, like, oh, this, and this, and you still stumble into $400 million, it's successful. Maybe not by Star Wars standards, but... and I feel like Mario's in that same category. He's one of the most recognizable pieces of IP in the world. Like, bar none. It would be like, you know, Superman would be up there. Like, you know, besides comic book characters, he's probably number one for video games, for sure. I can't think of anyone else that would be next to him in video games, like, on his same level. Mario and Luigi are top of the mountain. They're apex for sure. And so I know it would have been a reach. You got to get names. That's the name of the game nowadays. But I feel like, on the other hand, the name of the game outside, it's not stars anymore. It's not a star-driven box office. We've seen that so many times. Look at Adam Driver. Adam Driver has done Star Wars. He's been nominated for Oscars. He's got every single peg pegged, and his blockbuster dinosaur movie flopped hard. Unfortunately, I had a good time at it. So I feel like this would have been a really great opportunity to just hire voice actors, hire the original voice actor for Mario. I would have been okay with that because you have such a recognizable IP that people are already going to go see. And the animation's gorgeous. I really love the score. I believe it's by Brian Tyler. He did a great job. Something that I didn't expect from the Mario movie was a really, really good score. I believe that was Brian Tyler. I was looking for it. Where's full cast and crew? But yeah, so I don't know. I kind of, yeah, Brian Tyler. But I don't know. I kind of derailed there. But I think this would have been a good opportunity to be like, and I get it. You can't really take a chance. Like after in the 90s movie, they're like, no, we're going to, every single box is going to be check marked. All the T's crossed, all the I's dotted. We're going to go out all the stops. And I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it. It's something that like I'm going to be in the rush to see, but I think kids are going to freak out about this movie. And I think it's a great way to introduce a new generation to Mario if they don't know him. I think it is. And it, you know, as a casual Mario fan, it makes me want to go play some Mario games. I kind of want to set up my 64. I don't think I have Mario 64 and it's still like $75. But if I did, I'd play it for sure. Maybe I'll play some Mario Kart. And I will say, the next movie needs to be Mad Max Mario Kart, because that was easily the best scene when they're on Rainbow Road with all the different all the different karts. That I feel like you could change this entire thing to be like, they go to Mushroom Kingdom, Luigi gets captured, and Mario has to do just like all these different tracks to, you know, or race Bowser or something like Fast and the Furious Mario Kart Edition. I'm there because that was easily the best part of the movie, by far, and I want more of that. But other than that, had a good time. You're in, you're out. It is like I listened to a podcast and someone's like, oh, it's a tight 90. They're like, no, it's a vacuum sealed 90, and that's the perfect description for it. But thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to my patrons who are seeing this a few days early. Subscribe today, guys. I promise I'm doing these movie reviews all the time. I'm gonna start a new series. I need to figure out what series I'm doing, but I do trailer reactions here. That's Patreon exclusive. I do Patreon reviews every single month. So subscribe, guys. Join the Patreon today. It'd mean a lot to me. Great support. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Bye-bye.